So this is how I made the coils. As you can see, one is slightly smaller and the other one is bigger. For both of them, the height is 44 millimeters and the angle is 85 degrees. But for smaller one, the base is 17.5 mm. For the bigger one, it's 25.5 mm. I 3D printed this mold to make the coil, and I'm using this wooden stick to hold it while I make the coil. This one has 20 turns and this one has 19 turns. Another reason is that if I have to increase the magnetic field strength of the coil, I can just put the bigger coil around the smaller coil, and as you can see, the windings of the bigger coils are in opposite direction to the smaller coil. So I'll just put the bigger coil on top of on the outer side of the smaller coil and connect these two wires here. Now I'm going to remove it from these 3D printed molds and show it to you how they look like. 1 second. So this is how they look like after removing them from the molds. And these are copper pipes, not copper wire. Just 1 second. I'm going to show you here. Focus. Okay. So the diameter of the pipe is 2 millimeter and the hole or the inside diameter is 1 millimeter. So the outer diameter is 2 millimeter and the inside diameter is 1 millimeter. Alright, so this is it for the copper pipes. And this is how coils look like after stretching. You have to do it very carefully and gently. Take your time while you are doing it. Just don't mess up your coil. And make sure none of the turns are touching each other. Try to do it one turn at a time like this. Should look nice. Here are very few important points that I want to mention if you want to replicate it. I'm planning on improving the circuit even further, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an important update. So number 1, pay attention to the geometry of the coil. There is taper to the coil as I showed you previously. Also at the top of the coil, see how the coil comes like this and turns back on itself. This last turn is parallel to itself and this will create a magnetic field opposite to the rest of the coil. This is very important to achieve stable levitation. Also keep the distance between the turns very small as possible, and also make sure they don't touch each other. The second point I want to mention is the coil heating up itself. As you can see, it changed color. When the coil heats up, it reduces the magnetic field strength. So in the next part of the video, I'm gonna try to water cool it so that it performs even better. The third point I want to mention is the capacitors exploding. So it's important that you use multiple capacitors if you are going to use CBB capacitors like I did. Due to very high ripple current, they tend to pop very quickly. I used almost 20 capacitors in parallel, although 30 to 40 capacitors would be better. The fourth point I want to mention is the frequency. Keep the frequency above 50 kHz to increase the skin effect. My IGBTs are rated for 60 kHz maximum, but in this test I am able to push them even further because of zero current switching, and the maximum I have used in this test is up to 146 kHz. Next part of the series, I'm gonna finalize the circuit and I'm gonna show you the complete schematic and explain everything as simply as possible. So thank you guys very much for watching the videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.